Welcome to Periscope and welcome to and hey y'all, thanks for joining and thanks for everyone joining the replay too. Hey Brittany, there's our daughter dear. Okay, so I don't know if you guys caught the replay from last night or watched the Periscope from last night, but I had this cool thing that I was telling you guys about different stories about angels because of the Christmas story. He promised me because last night, Brittany, we were talking about angels and I totally forgot. Dad forgot that he actually has a true angel story. Hi, Angela. Good to have you on Periscope tonight. So angels are such a big part, hey Janae, of the Christmas story. And so last night we were telling all of these really cool angel stories. Hi Tammy, good to see you. Good to have you on my Periscope. Hey Brett and Sinclair's and everybody. Oh hi Janae, you guys are together. Cool. That's fun. Awesome. Okay, so last night, y'all, we had so many. That's so cute, and you're twins. That's awesome. We had so many cool angel stories, real life stories of when an angel actually brought a message. And I told a couple of stories for those of you who caught that replay or were on live. So I'll just recap them really quickly. Some family stories. My grandma was at the doctor's office when a man taps on her shoulder and says, "Do not have that surgery." And when she turned around, he was gone. And my grandpa did not see him coming or going. And he said, "Alita, that was an angel. And an angel told you not to have that surgery." So she didn't. And she knew it was an angel. And then another story of my dad's aunt, an angel, seeing her at the car accident and tying a tourniquet around her arm and telling her, "Don't let them amputate your arm. You're going to be fine." But then when she asked everybody, nobody saw him. But the scarf was tied on her arm, and she remembered him telling her that. So we have a few true angel stories, and I forgot about one that my husband had an encounter last January. So I want him to share that tonight because we forgot about it last night. So this is sort of piggybacking on our Periscope from last night. So honey, tell everybody what happened to you last January.
So last January, I do construction, and we had just finished up on a job, and I was just going around the building just picking up stuff. And hey, Mary Jane, how are you? And so I went to the back of the building, and there was now this building was on a corner of the street, and next to it was a Papa John's pizza place. So when I went around to the back of the building, there was a guy who was sitting there, and he had just gotten a Papa John's pizza, and I could tell that he was homeless because he had his basket of stuff with, that they have his collections of stuff. And so as I was walking towards him, a can of Spam rolled out, and and it rolled out in front of my foot. So I just reached over and I picked it up and I gave it back to him. He goes, "Oh man, you didn't have to do that. I would have picked it up." And I said, "Oh, don't worry about it." So I went back. I gave it back to him. I went back inside the building and I started talking to one of the owners there, kind of sharing what I was doing. And then I went back in to get a broom and a rake or something, trying to get some of the bigger stuff up from around the building. I came back out and he was still out there, and he said, "Hey man, I'll help you pick up all the trash, and you don't have to pay me anything." I said, "Nah, it's okay. I got it. You just stay there, do what you're doing." And as I started to sweep, I just felt like, this he needs some money. And so, why can't I just do that? So I went back around to the building and I said, "Hey, yeah, you can help me. I'm going to do some sweeping." He goes, "Oh, that's awesome." So he grabbed the broom and we went out to the side of the building and he started sweeping the parking lot. And as he was sweeping the parking lot, he just started thanking Jesus. He said, "Lord, I just thank you for this time. I thank you for, helping me out with this." And it just kind of caught my ear because I was also picking up stuff. And I walked over to him and I said, "Hey, I noticed that you're praying." I said, "Tell me what's going on." And he goes, man, I've been homeless for a while, and this has been really hard on me, and he said, I just been relying on the scraps, really. And I said, and I shared a testimony with him of earlier, that something that had happened to me. And I said, the Lord, he provides your daily need. He provides your bread for the day. And I said, do you know what? And I said, he provides your manna. And he looked at me and he said, manna. I said, yeah. Do you know what manna is? He said, yeah, it's the bread of God. And I said, yeah, that's exactly right. And I said, I just said, why don't you ask the Lord for your daily manna? And I said, do you know why the Lord provided manna and on a daily basis? And I said, do you also know why it would rot? Like if they didn't eat it all, they ate their fill, but if there's more than enough, like it would rot, like they couldn't take it into tomorrow. And that's because the Lord wants you to trust him every day for your daily bread and for your daily manna. And so as I shared that with him, he just began to cry and to break down. And he said, this has been the hardest thing I've ever had to do. And so I just, I had an opportunity to pray with him, and I said, I just started praying. I said, Lord, I just thank you for this man. I know that you're going to supply his needs. And it was he, and I said, I want to, after we got done praying, I said, I want to pay you for what you're doing. He goes, oh man, he goes, this is not, he said, I don't want money. He said, what you've given to me is worth more than money. He said, you've given me something that you've given me hope, and something that I can take into tomorrow, because it literally is, I have to rely on the Lord every day for my daily bread, and because I never know where it's going to come from. But he stopped to thank me. And so, as I got back into my truck, I just wept because of, how good God is, and how the Lord wants to supply our need every day. But we always get busy and we don't really ask. We don't ask the Lord for our needs. And so it's just reminding me of how grateful that we are for what we have, and to be able to witness to someone like that, really breaks my heart. But it's also encouraging because I know where I've been, and I shared my story with him about how we went bankrupt, and how we couldn't afford to pay electricity, and we couldn't keep our gas on, and so we had to rely on the Lord every single day for his provision. And so anyway, so that's how it ended. As soon as it ended, I went back out. I kind of went back out, and he was gone, and I couldn't find him. And so I was sharing this story with some other family members, and they said, they wanted me, a guy had even called me and said, James, because I had shared this story on Facebook a year ago. And a guy called me up and said, hey, I read your story on Facebook, and I want to give you $100, and I want you to give that man $100 for me. And I said, okay. He said, if you find him, I'll give it to him. And, I went back to that place almost every day, because, guys who normally are homeless will stick out in the same area, and he never showed up again.
Or he would have known you would have given him a job again.
Yeah.
Since you gave him a job that day,
yeah,
you paid him to help you clean up, he would have come back.
So,
and he never, ever came back again.
He never came back. And someone, I think my mom said, she goes, I think that was an angel.
Well, because why we thought maybe it was an angel, because the Bible talks about how we're supposed to be hospitable and kind to strangers, because they could be angels and we're just unaware that they're angels. And they're going to always look like a man, and they're not going to look like an angel to us whenever it's this type of angel. And so, but the cool thing is that this situation prompted James to write his story. last January. So he wrote this down on Facebook, and then it prompted him the next day. It prompted him to write this specific encounter with this man, who later we figured out was probably an angel. That prompted James to write a story. And James has had, we've had thousands of people, and probably more than that, read his story. In fact, I think 6,000 people have at least read this story. I think Grandma said that her angel looked like a farmer. Yeah, she said it looked something like that. But, you just never know. And it's so interesting when we read the Bible, there's over 250 references to angels. And so all different kinds of angels, but they are always a messenger, and they always have a message that they're giving you. And the message that day that you thought you were giving him, really, he gave you a message. Yeah. And the message that he gave you was to tell your story. Yeah. Because then the next day, James knew that it was time for him to tell the story. Yes, they're males. But anyway, so it was kind of cool the way that happened. We forgot to share that last night, so I wanted to share that today. But angels, and okay, cool. All right, Jonathan, that's really a great, I haven't read it, but thanks for participating and for making that recommendation. Really fascinating, and it's fun. And angels are such an important part of the Christmas story, and the message that they brought Mary, and then Joseph, and then the shepherds and the wise men, and so many messages. So anyway, thank y'all for Periscoping with us tonight. Everybody have a great Friday night date night, and I appreciate so much you guys just hanging out with us. I'll be back at noon and 9 tomorrow and every other day. If you guys want to watch past Periscopes, you can go to my website, TrinaTitusLozano.com. Hey, Sade, type that in if you don't mind, TrinaTitusLozano.com. So you guys just check out my website for past Periscope. So God bless you. Have a great night. And looking forward to hanging out with you guys on Periscope this weekend at noon and 9. So thanks so much. And just start by saying, have no fear. That's right. They always say, fear not.
Fear not.
Because otherwise you'll probably be freaking out. Thanks, Sade, for doing that. Thank you so much. But yeah, they want to always bring us peace. They don't want us to freak out. So it's fun to just give that some thought. So you guys reread the Christmas story and have fun with that tonight. God bless you. Bye-bye.